So we've talked about intervals, which are two notes. We've done a lot of work on that. So intervals, two notes. And one thing we haven't talked about is that if you do the two notes at the same time, we say that's a harmonic interval. So if they're played simultaneously, and if they're played in a sequence, one after the other of the two notes, then it's called a melodic interval. We've also talked about chords, and we're starting to explore chords. And chords are three or more notes that are played at the same time or conceived of as a unit. Now, you can kind of change chords around and play them, the notes of a chord sequentially, but right now we want to think of them just as three notes that are played at the same time. And we're starting out our journey into chords with triads, which are a special kind of chord that are three notes, and they are two thirds. So it's three notes made with thirds. So let's take a look at this again. Of course, you want to read the relevant section in the Valenzuela textbook and also musictheory.net. So here is one of the most common chords that you'll ever see, C, E, and G. So that's a triad. And the different notes in a chord have names, of course. So we have the root, which is the bottom note. And then the next note up in the chord is a third above, and so that's called the third. Ta-da, the third, okay. And then the note on top of that, a third above the third, is the fifth. And there you go. So we have the root, the third, and the fifth. And if you look at it, you see that that fifth is a fifth above the bottom note, or the root. So the middle note is a third above the root, and the top note, the fifth, is a fifth above the top. So this interval is a fifth. Okay, so we got a third here from C to E, and then another third from E to G, and that gives us a triad. Now this particular triad, because there is a major third from the root to the third, and then a minor third from the third to the fifth, that is called a major triad. So once again, a major triad has a major third and then a minor third. And of course, we also have a minor triad. So if we have a C minor triad, we would have a minor third from the root to the third, and then a major third from the third to the fifth. So a minor third and a major third. Now we've got two other common triads. We have one where you have two minor thirds. So minor third from the, here we've got minor third from the root to the third, from C to E flat, and then another minor third from E flat to G flat, and that makes a diminished triad. So we have the minor and the diminished. Okay, minor and diminished. And finally, if we have all major thirds, we have an augmented. And now I have used a very interesting combination of capital and lowercase letters. Augmented triad there, two major thirds. And you notice also in the augmented triad that from the root to the fifth, from the bottom note to the top note, is an augmented fifth. See there? That's C to G sharp, it's an augmented fifth. And in the diminished triad, the root to the fifth is a diminished fifth. So let's review a couple things. Root, third, and fifth. There is a fifth from the root to the fifth, and a third from the root to the third. In the major and the minor triads, there's a perfect fifth from the root to the fifth, and the difference between them, between the major and the minor, is that there is a major third above the root in a major triad and a minor third above the root in a minor triad. In the diminished arpeggio, or chord rather, there are two minor thirds, and there is a diminished fifth from the root to the fifth. And in the augmented triad, there are two major thirds, and there's an augmented fifth from the root to the fifth. So that's how the triads work.